Welcome back. We'll continue our discussion on first generation antihistamines. In this video, we'll be seeing the other next two classes of antihistamines: ethylene diamine derivative, example tryptophanamine, and propylamine derivatives, chlorpheniramine maleate and triprodine hydrochloride. Ethylene diamine derivatives. Diamine means it contains two nitrogen atoms. So the two nitrogen atoms are connected by two carbon atoms, CH2 with two nitrogen atom on the either end of the carbon atoms. The nitrogen atom at one end carries two aliphatic chains, and usually it is a methyl group, and the other nitrogen atom at the other end carries two aryl ring. So if you can remember the general structure of the first generation antihistamines, you can see that the X, the connecting atom in ethylene diamine, is a nitrogen atom, and you can say that all the ethylene diamines are simple diaryl ethylene diamines. The example for an ethylene diamine derivative is tryptophanamine hydrochloride. The two aryl groups present in tryptophanamine hydrochloride is a pyridine ring, that is, it is attached at the second position, so two pyridyl ring, and the other one is the benzyl ring. You can also see the two methyl groups attached at the other nitrogen atom. And this terminal aliphatic amino group is essential for the antihistaminic activity. The potency of the compound is very low. It is having very low anticholinergic activity and antiemetic activity, but it causes sedation and gastrointestinal disturbances. The example for ethylene diamine derivative is mepyramine. If a methoxy group is attached at the para position of the benzyl ring, you get mepyramine. A para-methoxy group at the benzyl ring will give mepyramine. Mepyramine is having a good local anesthetic action, as well as it is a good antihistaminic agent. So it is used for treating allergic conditions associated with insect bites. Now, next class of antihistamine is the propylamine derivative. From the name itself, you can understand that it contains a propyl group, CH2 and a tertiary amino group, CH2 and CH3, and that tertiary aliphatic tertiary nitrogen atom is common for almost all the first generation antihistamines. And then here in this case, the connecting atom X is a carbon, and depending upon what type of carbon atom it is, whether it is sp3 or sp2, you have two classes of propylamine derivative. If it is a saturated carbon atom, that is a sp3 carbon atom, then that class of antihistamines of propylamines are known as pheneramines. And if it is an unsaturated carbon atom, that is a carbon carrying a double bond, then that class of compound, an example is triprodine. So these propylamine derivatives are also known by the name alkylamine derivatives or monoaminopropylamine derivatives. So you can see that depending upon the X, it can be either pheneramines or triprodine. So this is the general structure of pheneramines. You can see that the connecting atom is a saturated carbon atom. So you have a propyl chain attached to a tertiary aliphatic amino group. So the important structural features of pheneramine is that it contains a tertiary nitrogen atom. It carries two simple methyl groups, and then the carbon atom at the other end of the chain contains two aryl groups. One is a phenyl ring and the other one is a pyridine ring, and that pyridine is attached at the second position. So two pyridyl group is attached to the carbon atom. So the two aryl groups attached at the carbon atom are a phenyl ring and a two pyridyl group. And you have different derivatives of pheneramine, that is, the one is pheneramine, chlorpheniramine, brompheniramine, etc. So they all differ depending upon the group present at the para position of the phenyl ring. So if it is a hydrogen atom, you get phenyramine. If it is a chlorine atom, you get chlorphenyramine. And if it is a bromine atom, you get bromophenyramine. Okay, so this introduction of a chlorine group or a bromine group at the para position of the phenyl ring greatly increases the potency of the antihistaminic potency of the compound. If you see the structure of phenyramines, you can see that the carbon carrying the aryl groups, two aryl groups are asymmetric. It is a chiral carbon atom, so it exhibits optical isomerism. Dextro form is found to be active one, and the dextro form has the S configuration. And being a base, it is used as a salt form, malleate salt. It is used as a salt of malic acid. So chlorphenyramine malleate is usually used. Now next propylamine derivative is triprolidine hydrochloride. You can see the unsaturated carbon atom. Here the sp2 carbon atom is the connecting atom. So you have a carbon-carbon double bond. So whenever there is an unsaturation, geometrical isomerism is possible, and the trans form of triprolidine is the active one. In trans form, the pyridine group and the pyrrolidine group are opposite or trans to each other, and this trans configuration is essential for the antihistaminic activity. Then the next structural feature is that since this molecule contains an sp2 hybridized carbon atom. sp2 hybridization, it is a trigonal hybridization, so the groups attached to that particular carbon atom will be in the same plane, parallel plane. So coplanar aromatic double bond system. That means the groups attached will be in the same plane. That coplanar aromatic double bond system is important for the antihistaminic activity. So we have already mentioned that since it carries a carbon-carbon double bond, it exhibits geometrical isomerism. Trans form is the active form. And it is found that the E isomer, where it exists in this trans form, it is 1000 times more potent than the Z isomer. Now coming to the synthesis of triprolidine, it is a three-step reaction. First step is the Manish reaction, in which 4-methyl acetophenone, paraformaldehyde and pyrrolidine undergo Manish reaction to form a beta amino ketone. So this in the Manish reaction, the 4-methyl acetophenone, it is an alpha methyl ketone. The hydrogen atom, it is an amino alkylation reaction, and the reaction takes place in presence of a primary or a secondary amine. Here the pyrrolidine is the secondary amine, and 4-methyl acetophenone contains a alpha methyl group, and the hydrogen atom present in this methyl group it becomes acidic because of the presence of the carbonyl functional group, and it undergoes a aldol condensation type of reaction to form a beta amino ketone. The oxygen atom, being electronegative, pulls the electron towards a oxygen atom, and that causes a shift of electrons towards the carbon atom, and the hydrogen atom attached to the alpha methyl group becomes acidic. The acidic proton is pulled out by the formaldehyde, that is the carbonyl oxygen atom of the formaldehyde pulls the acidic proton of the methyl ketone. I forgot to write the phenyl ring there, 4-methyl acetophenone, that phenyl ring I missed out. Okay, then and the next step is the secondary amine, pyrrolidine, reacts with the hydroxyl group, and the water is eliminated. So this reaction is just like an aldol condensation reaction, and amino alkylation takes place, and the product obtained as a result of Manish reaction is a beta amino carbonyl compound or a beta amino ketone is obtained. Then after this, the second step is the nucleophilic addition reaction with a Grignard reagent and followed by hydrolysis. So as a result of this reaction, pyridyl arylation takes place at the carbonyl carbon atom and the keto group is converted to a hydroxyl group. And then the third step is the dehydration reaction or an elimination reaction where the beta elimination takes place with the elimination of water molecule to form triprolidine. Actually, we get a racemic mixture of, that is the cis and trans mixture of triprolidine, and the trans form is separated using a chiral column chromatography. So that is all about the synthesis of triprolidine. Coming to the uses of triprolidine, it is an antihistaminic agent. It is widely used in many cough preparations. Corex, you may be familiar. Corex contain triprolidine and codeine phosphate. Codeine is an antitussive agent. So that's all about phenyramines.